everyone. You are welcome to this week's Business and Investment Tips program, a production of Christ Church Radio. My name is Ayodeji Ebo, an investment professional. This week, the focus is on understanding exchange-traded funds, ETF, Part 2. Last week, we considered what are ETFs, the difference between mutual funds and ETFs, the types of ETFs, and how ETFs work. This week, the focus is on the advantages of investing in ETFs, platforms to access ETFs, criteria to consider when selecting ETFs, and we'll wrap up with the popular ETFs in the US with their 5-year returns and some of the ETFs in Nigeria. Advantages of investing in ETFs. 1. Diversification. ETFs provide you the access to a diverse mix of asset classes, including domestic and international stocks, bonds, and commodities. For instance, buying shares of a technology sector ETF could potentially be less risky than purchasing shares of one technology stock. An ETF may own shares of many different technology companies. 2. Lower cost. ETFs typically have lower operating expense ratios than actively managed funds. ETFs that are passively managed tend to have lower annual expenses than actively managed ETFs. 3. Hedging. ETFs allow investors to issue stop-loss orders, limit orders, or even short a given fund. This provides investors with the ability to control risk and limit losses. 4. Flexible trading. Like stocks, ETFs are sold at real-time prices and traded throughout the day. Mutual funds, on the other hand, do not have this flexibility as pricing is based on end-of-day trading prices. 5. No minimum investment. Most mutual funds require a minimum investment, whereas an investor can usually purchase a few shares of most ETFs as desired. Platforms to access ETFs. Nigerian ETFs can be purchased on any stockbroking platform or through your stockbroker. Foreign ETFs can be purchased on platforms like Trove, Rise, Chaka, Bamboo, Passfolio, TradeZero, Choice Trade, and so on. Criteria to consider when selecting ETFs. 1. Identify the underlying index benchmark of the fund and compare it to the performance of the ETF to ascertain the tracking error. Tracking error measures the fund's volatility of excess returns relative to the benchmark index. 2. Liquidity. This is the ability to buy and sell without burdensome transaction costs. Look at the average number of traded shares and the asset under management of the fund. 3. Manager's tenure and track record. 4. Be mindful of costs, especially expense ratio, as described in the prospectus. Popular ETFs with a 5-year return in the US. 1. Vanguard S&P 500 with the ticker VOO. This tracks the S&P 500, which consists of 500 large companies listed on the US stock exchanges, and return within the last 5 years is 79.2%. 2. Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund, VTI. This ETF exposes you to the entire US equity market, including small, mid, and large cap growth and value stocks, and the return in the last 5 years is 74.7%. 3. SPDR Gold Shares ETFs, GLD. This tracks the price of gold bullion in the over-the-counter market. Return in the last 5 years is 49.3%. 4. Invesco ETF, QQQ. This mirrors the Nasdaq 100 index with the 100 largest non-financial companies. Return in the last 5 years is 139%. 5. iShares Russell 2000 ETFs, IWM. This tracks the investment result of an index composed of small capitalization equity. Return in the last 5 years is 40.4%. In Nigeria, there are several equity ETFs that tracks the NSE 30. The NSE 30 tracks the top 30 most capitalized and liquid stocks on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Examples of ETFs tracking the NSE 30 are Stanbic IBTC ETF 30 and Vetiver Griffin 30 ETF. There is also the New Gold ETF, which is a commodity ETF that tracks the South African price of gold. There is also the Vetiver S&P Nigerian Sovereign Bond ETF, which is a fixed income ETF, which tracks the S&P Nigeria's sovereign bonds. Thank you for listening. Please join us same time next week for another exciting and interesting session. For questions, comments, and feedback, kindly forward to info@getfinanceandinvestmenttips.com or send SMS to 070-8246-3747. Stay blessed.